What is going on? What is that, Mike Matheson? The Habs lose another one after getting out to a huge 3-0 deficit in the first period, thanks in large part to Mike Matheson and a little bit of the goaltending, but it wasn't all negative. There were some nice things, including Emil Heineman getting an absolute rocket of a goal, and Cole Caufield reclaiming his place in the top 5 in the NHL in goal scorers. But Jesse, the big focus today was on the goaltending and the lack of defense, despite the almost comeback that Montreal had. We got to dive into all of that. Plus a little note on Michael Hage coming up on this episode of Habs Digest. But Jesse, there's no two ways about it. This was a tough game for Habs fans. Once again, I feel like I'm sick of saying it.
It is for sure. Do you ever feel like sometimes you're having like a rough day or like a rough game and you just kind of need like a new fresh start, a new home for yourself? Well, guess what? Rentals.ca has got you covered.
Absolutely. Rentals.ca is a proud supporter of our channel, and they're a proud supporter of Team Canada. They've been helping them defend their home ice in international competition. They've been helping thousands of Canadians find their home ice across the country.
Whether it's Edmonton, Calgary, on the East Coast, the Rentals.ca has you completely covered. Go and check out their website. Even if you're happy at the home you have right now, you're losing nothing by checking out their website that's super clean and easy to use to check out great listings in your neighborhood and maybe even be able to negotiate a better price with your landlord already, even if you got a spot.
There's always a reason to be looking. Maybe you want to check out the value of your home. Maybe there's something just right for you. And if you want to find your new home ice, check out Rentals.ca in the description or the pinned comment down below. Thank you very much, Rentals.ca, for supporting our Team Canada and for us here at Habs Digest. Jesse, let's jump into the video, but I actually want to start with something a little positive. We'll get to the game, and I promise we'll get to the game, everyone, but I want to start with Michael Hage. And there was a little article that I will link down below that focuses a little bit on Michael Hage's recent performance, and some big things for him this year. He's running 47% on the faceoff dot, which as a freshman is really not that bad in the NCAA, and he can work on that. He's still hovering around that 50%, and there's a lot of season left to go to learn, which, yeah, like they said, it's pretty solid against older players. He does need to learn to win some more board battles. He's 6'1", 190. He's about average height, but getting that strength as he gets older is going to be big. But a big thing was a quote that he had, Jesse, from the same article. The offense is fun, but it's important to be mature enough to play in your own zone, help your D out, and be close to the puck. That's something I take pride in, and that's a great thing to hear from Michael Hage, who's been off to a torrid start right now, Jesse. 17 points, 9 goals in just 13 games, but to hear that he's focused on the defense just as much as the offense is just awesome for this guy.
And probably something, we want to hear this as Habs fans right now. Kind of our goals against was getting a little bit better, but this was a rough game. So having a center we know in the works, projecting to be that 2C who has those defensive sensibilities, playing that a little bit of that tight-knit game, I think is always the way to kind of go there. So I think Michael Hage has a great strategy, as well defensively, but we know just how dominant offensively this guy is. What I'm loving seeing from him is just taking the game over. His speed, I think, is going to suit our game so well, and he's just continuing to light up with highlight after highlight right now in the NCAA.
Yeah, he's been having game after game, which has just been amazing, and his performance has seemingly improved game after game. That's the big thing with him. Again, one of the top scorers for all teenagers in the entire NCAA. This guy is showing some incredible offensive talent, and I know it's maybe a bit too early to be putting all our eggs in one basket for a future 2C being Michael Hage, but Jesse, it's hard not to be confident when you see the way that he has started this season. So leave some love for Michael Hage down below. We need some positivity after a game like that. So having this guy coming up the wings, having Demidov coming up as well, even a guy like Reinbacher is really, really exciting. But we know what the fans are here for, Jesse. They're here to talk about the game, and probably not in the most positive lights. I want to start here with the game scorecard, and we all expected a certain name to be at the bottom, and I don't want this to turn into just a crap on Mike Matheson episode, but we can't just ignore it either, right? We got to call a spade a spade. He has cost Montreal in multiple games this season with some really, really questionable plays. After the game, he was asked, he simply said, "It's my decisions with the puck. It's been costing." He's not happy with himself. Marty St. Louis also not happy with him. And he's also dragging Lane Hutson's team defense bar very much down. As you can see, Lane Hutson's team offense and individual offense, they're well into the positives. But the team defense, while he was on the ice with Matheson, a lot is down there. Let's just start with this, because I know the fans are wanting to talk about this. I know we've both been a little starting to tip on the scale of, man, I don't know about Matheson, but Jesse, it seems to be getting worse and worse every single day. Again, I don't hate him or anything. It's just right now he's not making the winning plays that some other defensemen on the Habs are.
And guys, do not message Mike
Please don't.
Matheson right now. I know that we're passionate and everything else like that, but yeah, definitely some tough mistakes, especially being down 3-0, kind of to give them that breakaway just as we're looking to really get back to the game. And the big thing about this, Josh, is why I'm been mentioning, maybe moving on from Matheson point is because this is one of the leaders on your team. And we saw a couple giveaways kind of in this game, and they all didn't lead to goal, but there was definitely some breakdowns kind of defensively there. Matheson, I just feel not quite setting the best example for this young team where he's going to give, but, he's also going to cost this team at certain times as well. And that's what you kind of get from Mike Matheson. We saw from a lot of the goals against, it was kind of just breakdown after breakdown. I've heard some analysts saying, okay, well, we're losing battles in the offensive zone, and that's why, we're kind of creating these chances against. But a lot of analysts are not saying why this is happening. It's because we're doing too much of these stick kind of checks on the puck instead of playing the body, right? And this has been a trend even from the last game kind of going before, where it's really costing us, where we're looking to make those soft stick taps at the puck when really if you're removing the player, from the puck, you're really eliminating those problems there. So definitely would want to see that improve kind of going forward for this very young team.
Yeah, it's a team that has some edge physically. Some stick play can be good, like that one that Struble had later in the game on David Pastrnak on that breakaway. That's about as good of a stick play as you can get, but man, some of these decisions are just kind of baffling. Like you said, Jesse, it's just that edge is not always there. And, Matheson, as much as he does give the team offensively on many nights, he scored a goal against the Rangers, and I thought he had a really good game yesterday. He had a bad delay of game, you can't deny that, but I thought he had a solid bounce back game, coming back from injury. But then today was right back to the same old stuff where he was costing Montreal a lot. But just also want to reiterate, please don't message anyone. Kirby Dach turned off his Instagram comments because a lot of fans are going harassing players. Please don't. Just a PSA. Don't do that. If you do that, please don't leave a comment on this video. Just leave that out. But let's focus on some other stuff, Jesse, because I don't want to take this too long on Mike Matheson. And I know Cayden Primeau is going to get a fair share of the blame as well after putting up another rough night. He was clutch in the third period. Any quick thoughts on Cayden Primeau's game today? I know I'm not sold on him either. I'm starting to lean towards bringing Dobeš up. Any quick thoughts on that? I mean, look, again, he made some clutch saves in the third. Really, really good third. But too little.
Quick thoughts early on. Yeah. Exactly. That first 10 minutes, he wasn't allowing any rebounds, which is, for me, I always look something for Primeau. If he can maybe have good rebound control early, I'm thinking to myself, okay, maybe this can be a good sign. But I'm also thinking to myself, Josh, early on this game, okay, we're 10 minutes in and Montreal hasn't taken a really bad penalty. Great sign. However, I was wrong. However, we did make a game of this after all. What's not helping Primeau, again, is those lapses, as Martin St. Louis says, which is why it's not all doom and gloom. It's these mental mistakes. If you're allowing goals early on in the period and late in the period as well as quick consecutive goals, that's a little bit of mental lapses and errors, right? Where you're getting a little bit too caught, not being present in the game that's happening, maybe beating yourself too much about that previous goal only to get beaten again. So it's really confidence is at the core of the issue, not just with Kirby Dach, but as the Montreal Canadiens as a whole right now, because they're doing some things right at times, but getting Sigmund, but obviously they just need to get out of their own way to really move forward and get better. But again, some positive notes in this game all the same.
Yeah, and Primeau, after the game, he said, hey, it seemed like they were always at the net. It's not really a shot at his teammates. It's just kind of the truth. Montreal was letting the Bruins get way too close to the net too often. But let's pivot. Let's talk about the positives, because there were some great things. Let's just start with Caufield. We'll get to Heineman in a minute. This guy up to 15 goals, now tied for fourth in the NHL in terms of goals. He's finally back in that top five. I think he might have actually been there, or at least close to it. Reinhart's still leading the league with 18. This goal was a bit cheeky with the Xhekaj rush. Jesse, he's been on fire lately. 9 points in his last 7 games. He's picking things up, and he still might not make Team USA, even though he's been one of the hottest players in the entire NHL. It's been a pleasure to watch him play hockey right now. He's finding his groove. We all knew that shoulder was going to heal, but this guy's on pace for 50 goals, I'm pretty sure, and I don't expect him to slow down anytime soon.
Continuing to be the best player for the Montreal Canadiens this year. And we know, Josh, at the end of last year, where Slav and Suzuki were looking really good on a line together, and it was getting at a point where Cole Caufield was kind of the odd man out. So kind of tell me at this quarter point of the season next year that Cole Caufield is your best player is amazing. But then again, he has shown signs all along of being that great player, but just so nice to see him really take a big jump up in his game considerably. So really big to see. Another good sign for this team in the loss, though, is we are shooting the puck more, which is a nice one. Getting 30 plus shots on net is a positive thing for this team to change. Again, Caufield's going to do his work, and it's about us, not really hurting ourselves to be able to help him as well.
Just did the math real quick. He's actually at 16 goals. I forgot that second goal was his 16. So I still think that's top 3 now. It might be top 3, not even top 4. But regardless, Jesse, he's currently on a 54.6 goal pace. So well on pace to get 50 goals this year, which is amazing. But another guy that has been showing out so much is Emil Heineman. This is an absolute rocket. That's a goal scorer's goal. You don't see very many people score goals like this off the rush from like above the circle. I don't even know. Like, this guy, Emil Heineman, has proven himself at this point, Jesse, that he shouldn't be on the fourth line anymore. I mean, he has been one of the most consistent players when it comes to effort, consistent players when it comes to shooting the puck, and consistent players when it comes to creating high danger chances with his shot alone. I've loved his physicality. I've loved the way he's forechecked, the way he's shot the puck. I think this guy is going to be one of these underrated prospects that just kind of sticks around in that middle six for Montreal for years to come, because this guy, again, is on pace for over 20 goals this season. I have been nothing but impressed with Emil Heineman. And if you look at the forwards there, the only forward that played less than him tonight was Joshua Roy. And I think Heineman, he did get 1 minute 20 seconds on the power play, on the second power play. He's still third on Montreal in power play goals. He has been one of these bright spots for me.
Yeah, and he's not cutting any corners. As you mentioned, doing so many things right for this team. His forechecking early on in the game in that first period leads to one of Matheson's 2 posts. But again, he's one of the rookies that I'm liking, that he's kind of showing that willingness to one-time the puck, which that was such a beautiful goal from him. But again, something that I think a lot of Habs, players could learn more from is kind of shooting upon that reception of the puck there. What an amazing follow-through. Just completely launching it, really getting to the good graces even further with Martin St. Louis.
I mean, like, even if you shoot it, a lot of people aren't going to hit the net the way Heineman did. And by the way, assist for Lane Hudson on this play, if you guys wanted to see that. Nice little assist there. Hudson now... he's got a lot of points this season. Still no goals. Hudson was also the most used defenseman. Him and Guhle both played more than Matheson. Might be a sign of things to come, but that'll do it for this episode of Habs Digest. Leave your thoughts down below on everything. There's some positives, some negatives. I know a lot of you are not afraid to speak your mind, so we'd love to hear everything, as long as it doesn't go too far, as always. But thank you guys for watching. Hit like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff down below. We really appreciate your support. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host, Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you in the next one.